My husband and I recently took a vacation to one of our favorite spots, Signal Mountain Lodge. Now, as we walked into the lobby, I noticed the many things that they were doing to make their guests feel safe. You know, they had the plexiglass up, the staff was wearing masks, and on the floor were all the icons indicating social distancing. But what really impressed me was the conversation delivered by one of their employees, Mary, about our room. She shared with us that when we went into the condo, we would find all of the dishes in the dishwasher because she said, we sanitize everything between guest visits. And oh, please be sure and check the list we leave on your table, because that will tell you all the surfaces that we have sanitized, not once, but twice. Now, as I walked into the condo, I felt relaxed, I felt comfortable, and I felt safe. And I was happy with my purchase. But it did raise the question for me. How safe are we making it for our prospects to buy from us? And the answer is maybe not safe enough. So let me give you 2 tips by which to make buying from your company safer. Tip number 1, make your clients the salespeople. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, work with your team on crafting good stories, success stories, client success stories, because these can be used throughout the sales conversation. When a prospect asks a question, raises an objection, or wants an example of how your product or service works, your answer should be a client success story. It can sound something like, well, I'm glad you asked that question because we just recently worked with a client where we found this, did this. Now, this also taps into another psychological principle called social proof. And this psychological principle was uncovered by Dr. Robert Cialdini over 20 years ago. And basically what it means is that if someone else is doing it, it must be a good decision. It's a safe decision. Get good at telling stories. Tip number 2. Try the old grocery store approach. You know, the old try before you buy. Now, it's not working that well in COVID times, but I bet you can remember the good old days when you went into the grocery store, you were at Costco, and it was food vendor day. And you walked by the person that was sampling the meatballs, and you took a meatball. It tasted great. That meatball package ended up in your cart. You went a little further. Oh, artichoke dip. I'm having guests over for dinner tonight. I tried the artichoke dip. It is fabulous. It ends up in my cart. Well, by the time I get home, I have 2 to 3 more items that were not on my list. Why? Because they were a safe purchase. I could try it before I bought it, purchased it. Now, I would encourage you to brainstorm with your team. How do we create that same buying situation with your prospects today? Well, it might be as simple as running an assessment, something that they can really take a look at and believe their own data. It may be something like a webinar where they get to hear your thoughts before they buy or try. It can be serving on a panel, trying your technology tools. Brainstorm with your team on ways to make it safe. Try before you buy. So the question I think all of us need to be asking and answering is, are we making it safe for our prospects and customers to buy from us? I'm Colleen Stanley, President of Sales Leadership. Thanks for joining me today.